Okay, so I thought I would make a short little video on Balisong or butterfly knife. One of my favorite weapons to train with. I just got in a new one. I'm going to turn this music down. Hold on one second. At any rate, so again, I just thought I'd share some info and some how to get started with training with this if you're interested. First off, especially with knives, but any kind of weapons training, you want to have it conducted under expert supervision. With the butterfly knife or Balisong knife, again, if you're new to it, again, make sure you have someone very experienced in how to work with one properly train you. Use what they call a butterfly knife or a dull knife, butter knife or a dull knife. Okay, don't use a sharp one, and you can find them for $10, $15 online. This one is from Remington, made by Bear & Son. It's a very nice $50 knife. In fact, it's quite excellent. I'm very happy. So we're going to start with just basic concepts and knowledge and training with this. First off, my background, I have close to 30 years experience in the Filipino martial arts, over 25, almost 30. My teacher was Connecticut and New England director under both Tuhan Leo T. Gahe, the head of Piccadilly Tertia College, and with Tuhan McGrath, Bill McGrath, Piccadilly Tertia International. And he's also trained extensively with people like Guru Dan Inosanto and various other well-known experts in Filipino martial arts. And he's a veteran pioneer in martial arts from 1961. In fact, his skills with weapons are he could slice your eyelash off and not touch your eye. He was Connecticut State Chief Impact Weapons Trainer at the Connecticut State Police Academy, and also a nationally certified defensive tactics trainer. In other words, he can train police security organizations all over this country. And he did. And many times I assisted him. I've also worked with other people like this, such as Tuhan McGrath and Tuhan Gahe. Very lucky to work with them, starting back in the 80s and onward. And many others with military, police, and special forces background. Again, the butterfly knife is something that I really love. I haven't actually touched one in quite a while. I just got this. I don't know what happened to the other one. I hate to say that. Moved a couple times somewhere. It got lost in the lurch. But here we are. Now, the first thing is you notice there's three pieces. Okay? And essentially when it's open, it's a knife. Okay? Like any other knife. Given the construction, it has some unique features. Now, I want to back up a little bit. When we train, like in any martial art, we start with a salutation. So we're going to learn a very simple one to start. We'll hold our hand here. This is called the blood cup. Under your heart, the knife over the blood cup. We extend outward with the knife like this, to the side, and then a little bow. So let me do that again. So here, and down. Now, this symbolizes that in training, we're not going to try to spill each other's blood. Just me demoing right now, but to give you an idea, the blood cup means we're going to hold our fire. We're going to have a football, like a football practice, but we're not going to go full practice. We're going to go light. Now, if we still do it like this, it means we're going to train very, very hard, and it might be we're getting ready. Traditionally, it could be you're out in the jungle and you might have to go fight, right? So in modern times, it's a little different, a lot different. So we generally train like this, so we train very hard. Okay, now there's many different salutations that are used. I'll show a more formal one another time, but that's a good one right there that you'll see. Now, the knife itself, let's just look at some of that. First off, the first thing you notice is closed. It's not a knife, okay? It's essentially like a handheld baton, which can be used very effectively. So you can hit with either end, right, if you need a little extra oomph. Or to your fist, your back fist, again, more oomph. The ends, either end, can be used to hook, similar to a chin-on technique, right? Now this is called three closed for peace. So in other words, the three parts of the weapon are closed, and it's because, you're going to be merciful. You're not going to cut your opponent or stab them, all right? And again, I want to emphasize that Kali training, what I'm doing here, this is just for informational purposes. Enjoy. You have to see a real instructor. We would never train anyone under the age of 18, no matter how much training they've had before that. Okay? And know what the laws are where you live. Where I live, this is a perfectly legal knife. Single edge, under 4 inches sharpened. In many places, that's how it is. In my state, double edge is illegal. Now, in some states, they don't like these knives at all. Again, it has a bad reputation from movies. It's just a knife like any other knife. That's it. Okay? So, 3 closed for peace, 3 open for war. You're going to use it. Okay? And then this refers to the direction of the 3 ancestors, the 3 main Filipino islands. Just off the top of my head, I don't remember. I hate to say that. Mindanao, Negros, and I forget the other one. But that's a little bit of some concepts behind the knife. Now you see there's a latch. Very, very important. You want to know which one of the handles is the safe handle. The safe handle on a single edge knife is the one that does not have the blade edge. So on this knife you see, and I hope you can see it's black, so it I got as much light as I can in here. I'm not in the studio, as you see. The safe handle here is the one without the latch, and that's typical. That's how they're generally used. Most of them are made. Again, there's names for the different types off the top of my head. There's the Manila style, there's this style and that style. But you want to see where the latch is, and then see, for most of your maneuvering, you're going to hold the safe handle side. Now, you want to hold it up near the pins. This way, if for some reason you do have the knife edge side, the blade side, see, and it comes back on you, you're protected. You're not going to get cut. Holding it down here too low, there's a chance it slides off, or again, the blade will cut you. Okay? And again, when you begin, you start with a butter knife, or tape. Put tape on the blade. And most people that really get into this, they get cut eventually. After a while, you get so skillful, you know how to maneuver like anything else, you won't be cutting anymore. So start with the dull knife, and again, have someone train you properly. So know the safe handle, and then you want to know the latch. Again, typically, it's on the non-safe handle side. Okay? So, now this one you see has some holes in the handle. There's all different styles of handles and of blades and of point. This one is very excellent for the price. $50 knife, quite excellent. I don't work for this company, but, you know, it is what it is. The holes make it lighter, so this one has a great feel. It's not too light, it's not too heavy, and they're good for gripping. You know, you can kind of really grip into that. All right? The point, I think they call this a drop point. You know, there's the Tonto blade style. There's many kinds. So you can look online, look that all up. Great resources for butterfly knife. Anything by Jeff Imada, I-M-A-D-A. He has his great book, the Balisong Manual. No doubt there's videos that accompany it. Several other books he has. There's a great series on knives in general called Surviving Edged Weapons by Tuhan Gahe and Guru Dan Inosanto, which is totally outstanding. It was made for police and security. With any martial artist, especially if you're a serious martial artist, you should watch that. And any of the videos by Tuhan Bill McGrath, Pickety.com, Pickety Tertia International, did the very best. Okay, no nonsense, straight, for real, from proven experience and lineage a million times over. So those are some resources. Now, exercises. This is going to be really basic for this first time here. We'll go on from here. First thing is, when the knife is open, there's 2 basic ways you can hold it. All right? This grip here, we call the sak-sak, which means like slash, slash in the Tagalog dialect of the Philippines. And the knife edge is held outward, away from you. All right? Now this gives you more range and versatility. With a small knife, the more preferred way to carry this is like this. Typically, ice pick grip, what we call pakal, P-A-K-K-A-L, which means like to rip and to tear. So you see, this is very, very powerful in these motions. It's almost unstoppable, actually. Only a very highly trained, skilled person can deal with a knife, by the way. At close range, it's actually more deadly than a gun. It's nothing to mess around with. Okay? So those are the two basic ways you're going to hold your knife. Point down, edge in, point away, edge out. This is also called hammer grip, like a hammer. Sock, sock, pock out. Alright? Now again, it can be used very effectively closed. Alright? Now, simple exercise. This is called cigar roll. When we manipulate the knife, we'll get into that in a bit, you need to be very dexterous in changing handles from one handle to the other constantly while you're using it. Once it's open, it's a knife. That's the key. If you ever had to use a knife, which God forbid no one ever has to. One time I was involved in an altercation with a knife in the front seat of my car, and let me say it was quite eye-opening. Because of the great training I've had, I got through it. I never want to be in a situation like that again, ever. Okay, it was crazy. All right. So once it's open again, it's just a knife like any other knife. However, it has the feature of you can flip it around different ways. We'll get into that in a bit. Basic training, cigar roll. Here's the latch, here's the non-latch handle. Roll. Roll. See? Roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to do these, you walk around, you do this, right? I used to drive people crazy when I was younger, constantly, everywhere I was. Click, click, if I was in a safe place where I could trust people at home with good roommates and friends. I used to practice in my car. I kept it down low while I was driving. Cigar roll. Now, this cigar roll I'm doing is for the sock grip. Right? You also want to practice cigar roll in the other grip. Ice pick or pock out. Again, you're doing a 180 revolution. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you do those constantly because that's a basic skill you're going to need. Now another one. The latch can be removed. Once you get some skill with it, it's really more of a pain in the butt than anything. It kind of gets in the way. When you get some skill, you learn how to even move the latch with you. You get so dexterous, which is one of the great advantages to training with this knife. And one of the main purposes of it is your hand and finger dexterity and coordination between your hands is very, very enhanced. Obviously, you're not going to use it and flip it around like in a movie. All right? You're just going to open it and use it. All right? So the latch can be removed. All right, now, so cigar roll. Another one, I just got this knife. It's already loosening up so where this doesn't stay, which is fine. Is you cigar roll, you kind of inch your way up and down the knife like that. See? Again, you're building up hand dexterity skills, which help you to manipulate this weapon. Of course, you want to do this left and right hand. Anything you do with your main hand, you do with your other hand. Equal amounts of time. In fact, work the offhand more. Okay? So that's another exercise. Simple, basic exercise. Okay? Like that. Now, again, we're going to, real basic here. Just a little intro for tonight. This is a traditional Filipino weapon, Filipino design. Nowadays we have these great well-made knives. These things can cost thousands of dollars, by the way, handcrafted with the best materials, or you can get $5 models. Originally, they were making these things out of pieces of bone, any scrap metal they could get from a car or something. And, again, the main thing was if it could work, it worked. So nowadays we're lucky we can have something made that's really well made and not real expensive. So let's see. Now, the first thing is to open the knife and use it. All right. So once we get through simple basics like that, salutation, there's footwork. We're going to leave most of the footwork out tonight. Kali training with the knife, with all Kali training and many, many martial arts, the ability to be able to move is foundational. With weapons training, it's very, very important. If you don't move, you're going to get hurt. You can't be you see people sit there and do fancy moves, but they can't move. This is no good. Okay? So, proper training in Kali and any martial art. Many martial arts start with stance and then proceed the movement. Kali just starts with movement. Okay? We don't do long stance work like in Chinese style or Japanese style. You're going to get cut sitting in a stance. Everyone carries a blade in the Philippines. And the thing is, nowadays, in cities and environments where there could be high crime, many people are armed with a blade or something like a blade. They call it the concrete jungle, right? So it's actually, Filipino martial arts training is very translatable to modern society. Some of the more older, traditional Asian styles are kind of like from another time and place. The Philippines it's a jungle environment, multiple attacker scenarios constantly. It's a different kind of place, and the martial arts reflect very practical, very, very practical. All right, they're great. They blend in with other arts too. Now, so we may do a little footwork tonight. We'll do more of that another time. So we're going to do the basic first open is sock or hammer grip single flip. So we're going to make one flip. Now I'm going to show you real easy. Do this, turn it. You see how you have to practice those turning drills, and there you go. Now you got it here. You can hold it in a full grip. There's different grips. This is a modified grip, a fencer's grip, I think they call it. So if you're new to it, practice with a good firm grip. You don't want your hand loose ever. There's different types of grips as you go through it. So now to close it, same thing, single flip. One. See, you notice how I'm right up near the pins. All right, that's how you want to hold that. Turn it, and then it just closes. That's one flip. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. With time, that becomes smoother. I haven't touched one of these in a few years, so I'm going to do the best I can. You see? Like this. Now the single flip is the basic open. It's a little unwieldy. Alright? Now for real, you're going to have this knife in your pocket, the waistband, a pouch or something, and you want to practice pulling it out of wherever you have it and opening it. We're not going to get into that tonight. This is a very basic introduction. Alright? Just going to practice using it. Okay? But if you were a serious martial artist, and you're someone that can be trusted, your teacher trusts you, or you trust yourself, it's not a game, well, maybe you carry one, a legal one. You're going to have to get the thing out and use the thing. Hopefully you never do. That's a whole different, we'll do something on that another time. So, single flip. The simple way to start, 1, roll, 2. 1, roll, 2. Over time, you'll just boom like that. Your hand may get sweaty after a while, right? Also, there could be some oil on the blade, I just oiled it a few hours ago and dealing with that. So that's your sock or hammer grip single flip. Now, the ice pick grip, or pakal, all right? This is trickier. It's a very similar idea to start with. Drop the unsafe handle. Remember, you're always holding the safe handle. Now, see how I'm holding it? See that? Then you're going to lift that up, swing, and you have to grab it. It's trickier. All right. Then you roll it, so you have the safe handle. Drop, flip it up, hold it, roll it. Always roll it. You want to be holding the safe handle. Now that becomes automatic after a while. And then number 2, it won't matter so much, except that, remember, see, I'm going to have to, as you get used to your thumb, flipping that off, you want the knife edge in when you're using it. Double edge is not going to matter, right? But then there's more chance of cutting yourself. So the single edge, there's some advantages to it too if you keep it close to your body. Okay, now, we're not going to really even get into fighting stances, stuff like that. We'll do that another time too. Basics about the knife, how to open it, start with that. Alright, so, sock, single flip. Again, the latch has a tendency to get in the way there. So you flip that out of the way with your thumb, and again, this becomes pretty routine after a bit. Okay, so that's that. That's your single flip for sock and pakal. The double flip is another one. You see fancy tricks using 2 hands, tossing the blade in the air. We got all that stuff. Like I said, I used to practice this constantly. Everything that I could find out there I practiced and I could do, including hitting the ground and rolling and forms and routines. We would have to do that and make it up on the spot. And it's really a blast. Okay? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little intro into the Balisong knife. Thank you so much.